हरे कृष्णा नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Welcome back to the third day of this course, The Royal Road Ahead, Bhava and Prema Bhakti. So last 2 days we have been discussing on this theme of Bhava Bhakti first, and once we complete this we will move on to the theme of Prema Bhakti. So our primary course material is Sri Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. So as we discussed in the first course, Rediscovering Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, the book has been divided into 4 sections: eastern section, southern section, western section and northern section. And in each section there are chapters which are called as waves. So currently we are discussing the eastern section only, and in that eastern section we are now discussing the third wave which talks about Bhava Bhakti. So the last 2 days we discussed the definition of Bhava Bhakti, and yesterday we discussed about ways in which Bhava Bhakti appears. I will do a quick recap of what we discussed on this theme. So we discussed that there are 2 ways in which Bhava Bhakti can appear. One is through sadhana abhinivesh, absorption in sadhana. And the second way in which Bhava Bhakti can appear is by mercy. So these are the 2 easy understanding. So now within sadhana abhinivesh, within that first option, one can achieve bhava by practicing Vaidhi sadhana, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti and then bhava, or one can achieve bhava by practice of Raganuga sadhana, in which we have discussed Shravana dasha, Varana dasha, Smarana dasha, and then there is Apana dasha. Apana dasha is bhava. So in this way, through sincere practice of sadhana, one can reach the stage of Bhava Bhakti. So this is something that we discussed. And then we discussed that we saw some examples of this. The example of someone reaching the stage of Bhava Bhakti by practice of Vaidhi sadhana is Narada Muni. And then the example of someone reaching Bhava Bhakti through practice of Raganuga sadhana is a young girl who would dance in front of the deity for the pleasure of the deity. We saw that example from Padma Purana. So in this way we saw some examples also. Then we discussed about bhava arising from mercy. In this there are 2 categories. One can reach, so this category people are called as Kripa Siddhas. So Kripa Siddhas means those who reach the stage of bhava by mercy. Actually if you see, everyone receives bhakti by mercy only. So therefore bhakti starts with Satam Kripa. Satam Kripa means a devotee feeling very mercifully disposed towards another person. Like in that way only everyone gets bhakti. But here the word Kripa Siddhi or Kripa Siddha is used in a very specific sense. So generally one receives Kripa which gives one the faith to practice sadhana. But when that element of Kripa is so powerful that it directly takes one to the stage of bhava or prema, then that is an extremely powerful Kripa, and such people are called as Kripa Siddhas. Of course, every devotee is practicing bhakti due to Kripa of devotee or Krishna only, but then a Kripa Siddha is one who has enormous Kripa which allows him to skip the whole sadhana bhakti stage and go directly to bhava bhakti stage. So such Kripa Siddhas are of 2 categories. One is one who gets bhava bhakti by direct Kripa from the Supreme Lord, and another person is one who receives such a Kripa from a devotee. So first we discussed about a Kripa Siddha who receives the mercy directly from the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord can give mercy in 3 ways. He can give mercy through vachika, verbal benediction. Oh, from today may you get bhakti. So that is vachika, or may you attain the stage of bhava. That is vachika. Means just by giving a verbal benediction, the person becomes qualified for practicing bhava bhakti. Or the second is called as alokadana. The Lord manifests himself, his form in front of that person, and after seeing that form of the Supreme Lord, the person becomes completely transformed and he reaches the stage of bhava. Or the third way is from internally, from within the heart, the Lord may inspire bhava bhakti. And we saw examples of these three. So, we saw the example of Vachika, we saw the example of the Supreme Lord speaking to a Brahmana. This is quoted from the Naradiya Puran. The Supreme Lord told the Brahmana, oh, from today may you have undeviating bhava bhakti unto me. And then the Brahmana immediately reached the stage of bhava without performing any sadhana. This is one example of Vachika. And we saw another example of Alokadana, where the Supreme Lord showed himself and made that person come to the stage of bhava bhakti. So this was a quotation from the Skanda Puran. So we saw the example of the residents of the Jangala province. When Krishna appeared, they saw the form of Krishna, and all of them were so enchanted seeing that form of Krishna that they instantaneously reached the stage of bhava, and then they started showing symptoms of ashtasattvika vikaras, like that. This is another example for alokadana, the Lord showing his form and transforming them into the stage of bhava directly without any sadhana. The third example was Harda. We saw the example of Shukadeva Goswami, where Shukadeva Goswami, even though he did not perform any sadhana to reach that situation, right from the womb of his mother, he automatically became a very exalted devotee. This is explained from the Shuka Samhita. And then we saw the example of bhava arising from the mercy of the devotee. So here we saw the example of Prahlad Maharaj, who was within the womb of his mother, and by hearing Krishna Katha from Narada Muni, while his mother Kayadu was staying in the ashram of Narada Muni, so through that he developed such a powerful impression that he directly reached the stage of bhava when he took birth. So, and then another example is quoted from Skanda Purana, where again Narada Muni approaches a hunter, and by giving his association, he directly takes him to the stage of bhava. So this example we saw. So then, so this is where we ended our discussion yesterday. So today we will continue the next topic. How do I understand someone has bhava? Because you can see even the sahajiyas, or those who want to cheat, they train themselves to cry and show some of the ecstatic symptoms. Or even you can see these ashta sattvika vikaras are seen even in people who undergo some material emotions. So some of the symptoms are tears. We have an experience, before coming to Krishna consciousness, even while watching movies, we would have cried. So something as simple as that. What to speak of, loss of a family member or something. We have always cried. Or hair standing on end. You see something really astonishing. I have experienced in my own life, something that has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness, but you experience that horripilation, the hair standing on end, that happens. And sometimes you are in great grief or something, your voice starts getting choked up. That happens. Or sometimes when you hear a very, very shocking news, the person becomes completely pale in shock. So that is called as Vaivaranya or pallor, which is considered to be one of the 8 Satvika Vikaras. And sometimes we start trembling, Vepatuhu or Kampa. So like this, there are many symptoms which can manifest through in material emotions also. Or one can show these emotions with respect to Krishna while having a very sentimental attraction to Krishna also. This is called as Laukiki Shraddha. Laukiki Shraddha means sentimental faith. Out of sentimental faith also, devotees can, someone can have a relationship with Krishna, and one can start crying and showing these symptoms. So it is mentioned that these Satvika Bhavas are these kind of external manifestations. These are not reliable symptoms of a person who has reached the stage of Bhava. So one should not judge a person purely based on the manifestation of these external symptoms. Rupa Goswami mentions that there are reliable symptoms of Bhava, which is not these Satvika Vikaras. So what are the reliable symptoms of Bhava? Srila Rupa Goswami says, 9 symptoms. Kshantir avyarta kalatvam viraktirmana shunyata ashabandhas samutkanta namagane sadaruchihi asaktisthad gunakyane preetistad vasatistale ityadayonubhavasyur jata bhavankure jane. So Srila Rupa Goswami says that these are the 9 reliable symptoms of a person who has reached the stage of Bhava. So if at all you want to find out whether that person has reached that stage of Bhava or not, look out for these 9 symptoms. What are those 9 symptoms? He says the Anubhavas are characteristics of a person, Jata Bhava Ankure Jane. The characteristics of such a person who has reached that stage of Bhava, Iti Adayo Syuhu, are as follows. What are those 9? Kshanti. Kshanti means tolerance. We will read about these 9 symptoms in detail, but we will just enumerate it right now. First is Shanti, not Shanti. Shanti means peace. Kshanti means tolerance. And Avyarta Kalatvam means not wasting even a moment's time in non-Krishna conscious activities. Virakti means detachment from enjoyment. Manashunyata means pridelessness. Asha Bandha. Asha Bandha means confidence in Lord's mercy. That Lord's mercy will come for sure. And Samutkanta means longing for the Lord. Having a great longing to see the Lord. And Namagani Sadaruchi, having a constant taste for chanting the holy name of the Lord. Asaktistad Gunakyane, having deep attachment for glorifying the qualities of the Lord. Preetistad Vasatistale, and having a great attachment to stay in a place where Krishna has performed his pastimes. So these 9 symptoms are reliable symptoms of Bhava. So if one is showing these external symptoms of crying and hair standing on end and rolling in the ground and all those symptoms, without the presence of these 9 reliable symptoms, that is not true Bhava. So now we will try to understand these 9 qualities little more clearly. What does it mean? What does Rupa Goswami mean when he mentions these 9 qualities? First, tolerance or Kshanti. What is tolerance? He says, Kshobahetav apiprapte kshantir akshubita atmata. Kshobha means disturbance. Kshobahetav prapte api. Even though there is every reason to become agitated, there are all possibilities of getting agitated, but akshubita atmana. Akshubita atmata, but still that person is not at all getting agitated. Kshantihi, that is tolerance. So tolerance means there is every reason to get agitated, but the person is not getting agitated. He is tolerating it. That is tolerance. And a person at the stage of bhava has this quality naturally. He naturally has this quality of tolerating agitating situations. As Prabhupada used to say, a man's greatness can be evaluated based on how he can tolerate agitating situations, provoking situations. So, this person at the stage of bhava is really great. That is how he is able to tolerate provoking situations. So, Srila Rupa Goswami gives the example of Parikshit Maharaj. So, Parikshit Maharaj has just been cursed to die in 7 days by a simple Brahmana boy who has not even become an adult. He has not even become an adult. So, even in modern times, there are, if a young person who has not reached the adult age, he performs a so-called crime, there are juvenile correction centers. He is not sent to a jail. There are juvenile correction centers where he is put in in a correction facility where he is not so severely punished, but he is given some very simple corrections so that he can get better and become a better adult. So, Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a young boy who was not even an adult, and it was such a severe curse. He was cursed to die in 7 days. And Parikshit Maharaj was the emperor of the whole world. So, this was something very serious. A young boy who is not even an adult has cursed him, cursed the king of the whole world to die in 7 days. What could be a more agitating situation than this? But Parikshit Maharaj says, so Parikshit Maharaj, he renounces everything, comes to the banks of Ganga and sits there to perform devotional service. And all the great sages assembled there to take the association of Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj speaks these words. He says, Tammopayatam pratiyantu vipra gange cha devi drita chittamishe dvijopasrishta kuhakastakshakova dashatvalam gayata vishnu gata. So he says, Tammopayatam pratiyantu vipra. O Vipra, O Brahmanas, Mam pratiyantu, will you please accept me as upayatam, as a soul surrendered unto your lotus feet. Gangecha Devi, and let Mother Ganga also consider me as a person who has surrendered unto her lotus feet. Drita chitta mishe, and I want to tell you that I have firmly accepted the lotus feet of Krishna within my heart. Kuhakas takshakova, whatever may be that snake bird or that snake, Dvijopasrishta, which has been created by this Brahmana, let it come and bite me. I have no fear. Dashatvalam, let it bite me. Gayata Vishnu Gata, but you please do not stop speaking Krishna Katha. All I am concerned about is to hear Krishna Katha from you. While hearing Krishna Katha, anytime that snake can come and bite me, I don't bother. I have no fear. Kshobha hetav akshubitatma. Kshobha hetav apiprapte akshubit kshantir akshubitatmata. Even though there is every reason to get agitated, when that person remains firm and calm without getting agitated, that is called as Shanti. And this is a spontaneous, natural quality of a person at the stage of Bhava Bhakti. So, why? How is he able to be completely tolerant. See, such a person cannot tolerate separation from Krishna. Such a person cannot tolerate even a moment goes without serving Krishna. So it is just a question of value. What does he value? We cannot tolerate losing something which we value a lot. Like for example, if India and Pakistan is playing a cricket match, so any Indian will be firmly hooked to the television. If another member of the family comes and tells, oh, I want to watch some serial, it is impossible to tolerate because we value that match. But if some Afghanistan and Bangladesh are playing a cricket match, and if someone comes and asks, can I change the channel? You will say gladly, oh please go ahead, I will also sit with you and watch. So the point is, the person at the stage of bhava values only association with Krishna and he does not value anything else. So therefore, what is there to tolerate? I mean, it is easy for him to tolerate because he has reached that stage. He has earned that position by sincerely practicing bhakti. So he has developed a different value system. So, Kshobha hetav prapte api kshantir akshubhitatmata. Therefore, even though there is every reason to be agitated for whom? For an ordinary materialistic person. But for a person at the stage of bhava, that is not an agitating situation because he does not value it only. Therefore, here Parikshit Maharaj is presenting this thing. Oh, you think I am afraid of death? You think I am bothered about death? I am bothered about a minute passing without my hearing Krishna Katha. So please speak Krishna Katha. That was Parikshit Maharaj's mood. So that's why here Rupa Goswami is giving the example of Parikshit Maharaj for tolerance. Then, so here Srila Jiva Goswami comments, just as the great tolerance of Parikshit is seen here, but of course here he makes a very valid point, that Parikshit Maharaj, when he was fasting till death to hear Krishna Katha sitting on the banks of Ganga, he was already at the stage of prema, he was not at the stage of bhava. But still, in Bhagavatam or other such literatures, you will find examples of those who have achieved complete perfection, prema only. So therefore, if a scriptural example of a person at the stage of bhava showing such qualities is very, very, very rare. Because Shastras generally describe about personalities who have achieved complete perfection only. So therefore, here Jiva Goswami makes a point that even though Parikshit Maharaj was showing this quality of tolerance, and at this time when this episode took place, he was already at the stage of prema, but one should understand that when he was at the stage of bhava, he had this quality also. He must have shown this quality even at the stage of bhava and not just at the stage of prema. So he says other examples also should be understood in the same way, because in the subsequent examples also, in the subsequent qualities also, we may see examples of those who are already at the stage of prema. We should not ask that, oh, but we are discussing now the theme of bhava, why are you giving examples of prema? One should understand the bud of a jasmine flower will not blossom into a rose flower. Similarly, the flower of mango will not mature into jackfruit. It will mature into mango only. Similarly, if you see mango, you must assume that when it was in the flowering stage also, it would have been mango flower only. So similarly, even though this quality of tolerance, extreme level of tolerance is shown by Parikshit Maharaj, or other qualities shown by other personalities which we will be discussing. One should understand that even though this person is at the stage of prema, he must have had this quality at the stage of bhava also. That is the point that here Srila Rupa Goswami or Jiva Goswami is mentioning. Next, the second quality is avyartha kalatvam. Avyartha kalatvam, he does not give any explanation because it is very self-explanatory. The person does not want to waste even a single moment of time, because time is very precious. In my own life, I have been fortunate to have the association. I don't want to take their names because it will embarrass them if they ever get to hear this. So I have had the opportunity of, I have had the fortune of associating with persons who exhibited this quality of not wasting even a single moment of time in non-Krishna conscious activities, in a very sensitive way, of course. So I won't give examples because it will become very obvious, but this is a very and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, he says that if you are suffering from laziness, which is affecting your practice of Krishna consciousness, he says associate with those devotees who do not waste even a single moment of time. In their association, you will get so inspired that that your laziness will fly away, like that. So he quotes an example from Haribhakti Sudodaya. He says, Vagbhistuvanto manasa smarantas tanva namantopyanisham na triptaha bhakta sravannetra jala samagram ayur harereva samarpayanti. So, bhaktaha, the devotees of the Lord, Vagbhistuvantaha, with their words, they continuously praise the Lord. Manasa smarantaha, with their mind they continuously think of the Supreme Lord. Tanva namantaha, and offer respects with their body. Anishamna triptaha, but still they feel, oh, I have not done enough. Sravan netra jalaha, and with tears flowing in their eyes. Samagram ayuhu harereva samarpayanti. Samagram means complete, ayuhu, their life. Harereva samarpayanti, they offer their complete lives to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in this way they feel, oh, I have insufficient time. I have insufficient time to perform all the activities that I want to perform for the pleasure of Krishna. So, this is something, this is avyartha kalatvam. So, this is always good. If one is continuously absorbed in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then there is no time for Maya. Of course, this is an instruction for the sadhaka, but the bhava bhakta, a person at the stage of bhava, he is not engaging himself in order to protect himself from Maya. If Maya comes before him, he will engage Maya also in the service of Krishna. He is a person who is transcendental to Maya. Out of intense affection for the Supreme Lord, he constantly feels that I have not done enough for Krishna. So where affection is there, the person feels that I have not done enough, I have not given sufficient time. Like recently, my father was sharing with me that he incidentally happened to hear these classes online because they are on YouTube, and his own son is speaking. So which father would not like to hear? So he was hearing and he was telling that, oh, even though I always wanted to get you a very, good, uh, very good quality dictionary, somehow it always slipped by mind and I never did it. But still, your vocabulary is quite good. Of course, he was mentioning it. So, I mean, even though my father has given me practically everything to, you know, uh, study whatever I wanted, uh, and despite all of that, he allowed me to go abroad, study, and despite all that, allowed me to join the ashram also. But despite all that, he felt that I have not done enough. That is the nature of love. That is the nature of affection. So here the Bhava Bhakta, he is feeling dissatisfied because because of his affection for Krishna, and it is not because he wants to save himself from Maya. So this is Avyartha Kalatvam. This is the second quality that Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about, and he is quoting from Hari Bhakti Sudodai. So Hari Bhakti Sudodai is a literature which is a Upapurana, supplementary Purana, in which there is the story of Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. So this must be about one of the two personalities. Then the third quality is called as Virakti. Virakti, what is Virakti? He says, Viraktir Indriyartanam Syad Arochakata Swayam. What is Virakti? What is detachment? He says, Indriyartanam Swayam Arochakata. Swayam means spontaneous, natural. And natural distaste towards the sense objects is called as detachment, Virakti. So, here, why? Because it is mentioned here in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So, the detachment that manifests in a devotee is not due to fasting. So when you fast, automatically your senses become weak. So he is not artificially trying, like there are some sects of spiritual practitioners who artificially castrate themselves so that they are free from sex desires. So a devotee is not like that. A devotee gives up objects of sense gratification because of a spontaneous attachment to Krishna. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Because he has developed a relationship with Krishna and it is so satisfying. So because of that he gives up attachment to inferior sense objects. So therefore Viraktir Indriyartanam Swayam Arochakata. So Virakti means a spontaneous distaste for sense enjoyment because he has a higher taste for serving Krishna. So he gives an example of Bharat Maharaj from the 5th canto of Bhagavatam. So he says about Bharat Maharaj, Yo dustyajan darasutan suhrid rajyam hridis prushaha jahau yuvaiva malavad uttama shloka lalasa. Very interesting. Shukadeva Goswami gives a very interesting analogy. He talks about the detachment of Bharat Maharaj. He says, Yo dustyajan dara sutan suhrid rajyam hridis prushaha. So Bharat Maharaj, Jahau, he gave up. What did he give up? Dara, wife. Sutan, sons. Suhrid, friends and relatives. Rajyam, his own kingdom. And what was the nature of these things that Bharat Maharaj possessed? Dustyajan, very difficult to give up. Hridisprishan. Hridisprishaha means they were so close to the heart of ordinary people. One cannot give up all these things. But how did Bharat Maharaj give up? And most importantly, Yuvaiva. It is not that he had grown so old that he was unable to enjoy any of these things. Yuva, he was a very young person and he gave up all these things. How did he give up all these things? Interestingly, Shukadeva Goswami says, Malavad. Malavad means just like one would give up stool. So, why does he compare the detachment of Bharat Maharaj to giving up stool? Because it's a very disgusting analogy from one point of view. So, he says there is a very important reason. Because stool is such a thing, if you don't give it up, you are in pain. Once you give it up, you are so much relieved and happy. And after giving it up, you never turn back to look at it because it's so disgusting. This was the nature of Bharat Maharaj's detachment, that he was so eager to give up. He was just waiting for his son to grow up so that he can install him in the on the throne and he can give it up. It was painful. It was painful to hold on to all these things. And after giving up, he was so happy. And having given up, he never turned back to look at his own kingdom. Jahau Yuvaiva Malavad. But how did he develop this kind of detachment? Shukadeva Goswami says, Uttama Shloka Lalasa. Because of intense longing to serve the Supreme Lord, he could give up. This is the meaning of Param Drishtva Nivartate, Virakti, intense detachment. So this is about Bharat Maharaj. Next we come to so we have till now seen Shantir Avyartha Kalatvam Virakti, 3. Now the fourth quality is Mana Shunyata. Mana Shunyata means pridelessness. What is pridelessness? Manya Shunyata Katita Utkrishtve api. Utkrishtve api amanitvam. Mana Shunyata Katita. Utkrishtve api. Utkrishtve api means one may be having a very high position, but still amanitvam. He remains humble. That is Mana Shunyata. So, otherwise there could be people who have nothing to be proud of, but still they may be proud. This is the lowest category. And in other cases you may see people who are not proud because they don't have anything. They have nothing to be proud of. This is higher category. But the highest category, as seen in devotees who have reached the stage of bhava, is they have everything to be proud of, but they are not proud. So, like for example, so again the point is, this pridelessness comes from again value system. Like in the United States, right when Prabhupada was going to, he had reached there, the hippie movement was very strong. A whole generation of young people, a good percentage of them, were completely disillusioned with the materialistic life that their parents were living. So they did not value it. So even though some of them came from very millionaire background, but they had absolutely no pride in it. In fact, they took pride in living a life of renunciation actually. Many of the hippies lived very, very pathetic lives actually. Even though many of them were from very, very wealthy households. So therefore here the Bhava Bhakta is able to be prideless because he values the association of devotees, he values the association of Krishna, he values the relationship with Krishna. So, so in the conversation between Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai, my dear Ramananda Rai, in this whole world, what is the thing which is most worthy to be proud of? So Ramananda Rai says, the thing which is most worthy to be proud of is to be known as a devotee of Krishna. So they are proud of being a devotee of Krishna. So this is actually the reason for the mana shunyata of the Bhava Bhakta. Because his value is different. He values, so therefore he does not value anything of this material world, therefore he is not proud of any of these things. He is proud of being a devotee. And that pride is not born out of the material mode of passion. That is born out of genuine love. So a quote from Padma Purana to illustrate this point. This is about King Bhagiratha. It is said, Harau ratim vahan esha narendranam shikamanihi bhiksham atan aripure shvapakam api vandate. So this is an illustration of mana shunyata, complete pridelessness of Bhagirath Maharaj. So Narendranam Shikamani. Shikamani means the crest jewel amongst all the kings, King Bhagirath. Aripure Bhiksham Atan. He went out begging at the house of his enemies. Shvapakam api vandate, and he offered respects even to the dog eaters. Why? Harau rati vahan. He was carrying rati or bhava towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, this quality of mana shunyata naturally manifested. So we all know this story of Lala Babu. Lala Babu was from Bengal. He was a very, very wealthy landowner. And this Lala Babu, I will cut the story short because otherwise it's a long story. So Lala Babu was a very, very wealthy landowner and he was very much materialistically engrossed. And somehow by divine inspiration, he left everything and went to Vrindavan. So to perfect his spiritual life. So he went and surrendered himself to a very great saint in Vrindavan and he requested to be initiated by him. So that saint said, you can wait. I will initiate you once you become ready. So slowly, Lala Babu constructed a temple in Vrindavan and he was managing it and doing lot of wonderful spiritual activities, giving lot of donation to the sadhus and all that. But despite all of these things, the saint would not give him initiation. So then later he thought, maybe my spiritual master wants me to live the pure life of a sadhu. So only then he will give me initiation. So he gave up everything and he started begging from door to door. Still his spiritual master would not give him initiation. He said, you can wait, when you become qualified, I will give you. Then he was wondering, What is it that I have not given up? Why is my spiritual master not pleased with me? Then he realized, oh, when I was, uh, I am going to all places to beg Madhukari, but I don't go. My one of my previous enemies, he has also come to Vrindavan, and he is also a wealthy landowner, and he is also giving lot of um, uh, lot of charity. Because of my past enmity, I, I have never gone to his house to beg. Because if you going to an enemy's house to beg is literally the, the epitome of pridelessness. So maybe my spiritual master has detected that level of pride in my heart. So that is why he is not giving me initiation. Next day he went to, and his that enemy of Lala Babu was giving in charity. He stood in the line. It was a long line, and he stood there just with other sadhus who were begging. And when his turn came, and when he was standing with the begging bowl in front of that enemy, it melted the heart of that enemy, and he fell at the feet of Lala Babu. Both of them embraced. And then on that particular day, when he approached this Guru, without even his asking, the Guru initiated Lala Babu. So this is this level of extreme pridelessness is seen spontaneously in those who have reached the stage of Bhava Bhakti. Aripure Bhiksham Atan. So this Bhagirath Maharaj would go to the houses of his enemies to beg, and he would offer obeisances even to a Chandala. This was because Harau Ratim Vahan, because he was carrying the treasure of love of Krishna in his heart. Therefore, it was natural and spontaneous for him. So we have seen Kshantir, Avyartakalatvam, Viraktir, Manashunyata, 4 qualities. 5 more qualities are left. The 5th quality is Asha Bandha. What is this Asha Bandha? Asha Bandho Bhagavataha Prapti Sambhavana Drida. Asha Bandha, confidence, means Drida Bhagavataha Prapti Sambhavana. Firm assumption that one will attain the Supreme Lord. So, there is an episode in Chaitanya Bhagavat where it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing this Mahaprakash Leela. So during that Mahaprakash Leela, every single devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called them and showed a special form to them and gave them all benedictions. It was a very special event. Everyone was getting the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked for Kolavecha Sridhar to be brought from from his house, which was quite far away, and he gave him mercy. But Mukunda, who was very close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was standing right with everyone, and everyone was wondering, why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not calling Mukunda? Then after everyone's turn got over, still Mukunda had not been called, and all the devotees asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why are you doing this? Why are you not calling Mukunda? He has surrendered his life to you. Such a surrendered devotee, why you are not showering your mercy upon him? So Mukunda was standing in a corner, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this Mukunda, sometimes wherever devotees are discussing Krishna Katha, he goes and sits there, and in this way he puts flower garlands in my neck, And sometimes somewhere else when Mayavadis are discussing some Mayavadi Katha, he goes and sits there and hears that also. In this way, he takes a big stick and beats my back. So this Mukunda, how can I show mercy to him? In fact, I will not show my mercy to him in 10,000 lifetimes. Only after 10,000 lifetimes I will show him mercy. So Mukunda was standing there. He started jumping and happily he was shouting, I will see, I will see. After 10,000 lifetimes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will show me mercy. I will get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like that. He had so much confidence in the words of the Supreme Lord, in the mercy of the Supreme Lord, that even though that he was willing to wait for 10,000 lifetimes to receive the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased. In fact, it was not, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to show to everyone who this Mukunda is, what caliber devotee he was, in order to bring out that wonderful quality of confidence in the Supreme Lord, which was there within the heart of Mukunda. He enacted this whole pastime and eventually he gave mercy to Mukunda also. So this is confidence, Asha Bandha, having firm faith and determination. He says that a firm assumption that one will attain the Lord. I will. Like that. So Sanatan Goswami, he has composed this beautiful prayer which encapsulates this mood of Asha Bandha, having firm assumption that one will attain the Lord. He says, Na prema shravanadi bhaktirapi va yogo tava vaishnavo jnanam va shubhakarma va kiyadaho sajjatirapyasti va हीनार्तादिक साधके त्वयि तथा प्यच्छेद्य मूला सति हे गोपी जनवल्लभे व्यततते हा हा मदाशैव माम. He says, Na prema shravanadi bhakti rapiva. My dear Lord, I don't have any prema. In fact, I don't practice hearing or chanting also. Yogo tava Vaishnavo. In fact, I have no practice of meditation on Vishnu through Ashtanga Yoga also. Jnanam va Shubha Karma va Kiyadaho. Nor do I practice the path of Jnana, or nor do I practice the Varnashram duties properly. Sajjatirapyastiva. I don't even have a good birth to execute these actions properly. Heenartadika sadhake tvayi. My only hope is that Hina Artha Adhika Sadhake, you are most merciful to the least qualified person. So my only qualification is that I have no qualification. How is that a qualification? Because you are Dinabandhu, you are the friend of the most fallen. So therefore, that is my only hope. Hey Gopi Jana Vallabha, oh lover of the gopis. Achedya Mula Tatapi, even though I have impure desires, I have not uprooted the material desires. Mam Ashaiva Sati, my aspiration for you continues. With all these material desires, I am still having deep desire to achieve your lotus feet. Ha ha vyatate, and that desire is agitating me constantly. So I have firm faith that I will attain you because you are Dina Bandhu and I am Dina. So despite being troubled, maybe of course this person at the stage of Bhava, Sanatan Goswami is a pure devotee. It is a natural outpouring of humility which is born out of love, prema. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha. So he says that neither I have prema nor do I have performed Ashtanga Yoga or performed hearing and chanting. I have not performed any Varnashram Dharma. In fact, I don't even have the good birth to practice any of these things. So now one may say, is it possible to attain the Supreme Lord or please Him through practice of yoga, jnana, karma, etc.? No, but they are mentioned as causes of attaining the Lord or realizing the Lord only because it has some element of bhakti. So complete understanding of the Supreme Lord is possible only through pure devotional service, but incomplete understanding of the Supreme Lord or realization of the Supreme Lord is possible through practices like Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, etc. because they have the element of bhakti. Because that bhakti element is not complete, the realization of the absolute truth is also incomplete. Therefore, the Jnana Yogis can realize the Brahman feature of the Lord, the Ashtanga Yogis can realize the Paramatma feature of the Lord. So, the Brahman and the Paramatma realization is incomplete realization of the absolute truth. Why it is incomplete realization? Realization because those practices have small element of bhakti, but incomplete realization because bhakti is not complete. It is mixed with jnana, it is mixed with yoga, like that. So, like that. So, for all these practices, only if they have bhakti they can achieve perfection. Of course, that is a side discussion, we will not get into that discussion. We are discussing about Asha Bandha and the mood that is expressed by Srila Sanatana Goswami here. I have a thirst for attaining the Lord, not motivated by prema, but by desire for my own happiness, since I have deeply rooted desires for personal enjoyment. This is what Sanatana Goswami is telling, but Sanatana Goswami has no material desires. This is just an expression of deep humility, manashunyata, that is characteristic of a person at the stage of bhava. So therefore this verse is used as an example for rati. So we have seen 5 qualities: Kshantir, Avyartakalatvam, Manashunyata, Ashabandha, Kshantir, Avyartakalatvam, Viraktir, Manashunyata, Ashabandha, 5 qualities. The 6th quality is called as Samutkanta. Samutkanta means Samutkanta Nija Abhishta Labhaya Guru Lubdata. Samutkanta or longing means Guru Lubdata. Guru means intense. Lubdata means greed. Intense greed. Nija Abhishta Labhaya. For attaining service of the Lord. Intense greed. Possessing intense greed for attaining service of the Lord is called as Samutkanta. So, that he quotes a verse, Srila Rupa Goswami quotes a verse from the Krishna Karnamrit by Srila Bilvamangal Thakur to establish this principle. So he says, Anam Rama Sita Bruvorupachitam Akshina Pakshmankuresh Alolam Manuraginor Nayanayor Ardram Mridau Jalpite Atamram Madaramrite Madakalam Amlana Vamshi Svaneshu Ashaste Mamalochanam Vrajashishor Murtim Jagan Mohinim. So here Srila Bhakti Bilvamangal Thakur says, I long to see that young Krishna. Vrajashishor Murtim Mama Lochanam Ashaste. I desire to see that young Krishna. Jagan Mohinim, who is enchanting this whole universe. How? How is he enchanting this whole universe? Anam Ram Asita Bruvor Upachitam. With his bent black eyebrows. With his beautiful eyebrows. Akshina Pakshmankureshu. And with his thick eyelashes. Alolam Anuraginor Nayanayor. With his attractive moving eyes. Mridau Jalpite, with his soft words. Ardram, which melt the heart. Atamram Adaramrite, which is reddish lips. Madakalam and his intoxicating sound, Amlana Vamshi Swaneshu, which is emanating from his flute. So, with all this, with his beauty and speech and sound, he is enchanting this whole universe. And I have a deep longing to see that young Krishna. So, in this way, Srila Bilvamangal Thakur expresses his Samutkanta, great intense longing for seeing Krishna. So, this is Samutkanta. So, 6 qualities we have seen. Kshantir avyartha kalatvam, manashunyata, ashabandha, samutkanta and virakti. 6 qualities. The 7th quality is tad gunakyane asakti. Very self-explanatory quality. Tad guna akyane asakti. Having great attachment to sing his glories, hear his glories. He quotes a verse from again Krishna Karnamrita by Bilvamangal Thakur. So where Bilvamangal Thakur says, Madhuryadapi maduram, manmatata tasya kimapi kaishoram, chapalyadapi chapalam, cheto bata harati hanta kim kurmaha. So he says, manmatata tasya kimapi kaishoram. That youthful Krishna has all the qualities of Cupid. Cupid is Madan. But Cupid here means he has all the qualities which can attract anyone's mind. Madhuryadapi maduram. He is sweeter than the sweetest thing. Chapalyadapi chapalam. And he is the most fickle. Cheto bata harati. And he has stolen my heart. Hanta kim kurmaha. What should I do now? In this way, in many series of verses, Bilvamangal Thakur glorifies the various qualities of Krishna. This indicates the mood of asaktistat gunakyani, great eagerness to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that. So this is the 7th quality. And the 8th quality is Pritistad vasatistale. So he is quoting a verse from Padyavali. Atrasit kilananda sadma shakatas yatra bhavad bhanjanam bandhachedo karopi dama birabud baddhotra damodaraha ittam matura vriddha bhaktra vigalat piyosha dharam piban anandashrudara kada madhupurim danyascharishyamyaham. He says, oh, Nanda's house was here. This is where Krishna broke the cart. Shakatasya banjanam atra bhavad. Atra damodara bandhachedakaro dhamabir baddho abud. Oh, this is where Damodar was bound by his mother Yashoda to that grinding mortar. Kada danyas charishyamyaham. When will that day be mine? When I will roam around in Mathura, Madhupurim, Anandashrudara, with tears in my eyes. Piyusha dharam piban, drinking such streams of nectar flowing from the mouth of an elder of Mathura. Gaura amar jesabastane karalo brahmana range, sesabastana heribo ami pranai bhakata sange. So, he says that wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has travelled, where Krishna has performed his pastimes, I would like to visit all those places in the association of great devotees who have great love for Krishna, so that I can appreciate those places like that. So, asaktistat gunakyane, pritistad vasatistale, having great attraction for those places where Krishna has performed his pastimes. Therefore, you see all the acharyas in our parampara eventually come and settled either in Vrindavan or Mayapur or Jagannath Puri, where either Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna has performed their pastimes. So this is natural. So I think we have either missed some quality or I don't know. Kshantir avyartakalatvam manashunyata. Kshantir avyartakalatvam viraktir manashunyata. Ashabandha samutkanta namagane sadaruchi. Constant taste for chanting the holy name. Either a verse has not been given or somehow by mistake I have skipped it. And asaktistad gunakyane preetistad vasatistale. So these are the 9 reliable qualities of bhava, and if one may possess the external qualities of crying for Krishna or hair standing on end, but if he does not have even one of these 9 qualities, such a person does not possess bhava. It could be something else. What it could be, we will discuss tomorrow. There are a few things that it could be. What it could be, what are the possible things where the external Ashtasattvika bhavas may be there, but these 9 reliable symptoms are not there. Then it cannot be considered as bhava. So we will pause for today. It's already time. I have gone past time. I promised 1 hour, but I have gone at least 5 minutes past that time. So we will continue this discussion tomorrow. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Hoping to have your association tomorrow also. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Shri Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.